Hello and welcome to Light Upon the Path, day 7 of my 10-day video challenge. Today I would like to bring one more tool that I've used. The 4 Agreements, an old book, oldie but goodie, right? So Don Miguel Ruiz so brilliantly brought common sense that is the golden thread that runs through humanity into 4 simple agreements. And so I'm going to read each agreement and what he says about each one, and then talk about how that agreement wove its way into my life. So, the first agreement: be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself, to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. So using the power to speak against yourself, this is, it's not a large book, but 4 simple agreements. You can imagine that he goes into some detail. The word, or the way you speak, the words that you use have power. And so when you're using the word against yourself, speaking unkindly to yourself, telling yourself you can't do something, you can't be something, that you're stupid, that you're unattractive, that you're whatever, those words have power. They're like magic spells. And they sink into your psyche. So that using that bit about using the power of the word against yourself really hit home for me. And so I began to notice where I was speaking unkindly to myself, and then change that pattern, those words, the thoughts, into love talk. So he expresses that as using the word in the direction of truth and love. I think of that as loving yourself up, talking to yourself in a loving way, and really knowing and meaning it. And it takes practice. Again, we are kind of taught and domesticated into not speaking of ourselves in a good light. And there's a difference between, the braggart speech and the truly loving yourself speech. So the second agreement: don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. And I think that's pretty straightforward. When you learn to live without attachment to what others think, to others' opinions, to their actions, when you know that everything is for you, life changes. So not taking anything personally. Also for me, there's the other side of that coin. When you get tons of accolades, when you get people who are either falsely buttering you up for something, or lots of really complimentary words, take the frequency of that love. Sure, take that in, but don't make others' beliefs of you the core of your being. So you already know, hopefully, who you are and what gifts you came with. So don't take it personally when someone is telling others you're the very best. No attachment, no attachment. So the good and the bad, no attachment. That's my personal way of being. The third, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really meant, or really want. I'm sorry. Let me read that again. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. I believe that what he's saying is truth. So communicating, asking questions is huge. Don't assume, and I'm speaking for myself. I have learned not to assume what my husband is thinking, or friends, or parents. I ask. Even if I think I know, if I'm sure that I know, I still want to hear it from them. And I want to communicate as clearly as possible. And so I'll sometimes say, like, I just want to make sure that you're hearing me, or, using that technique of repeating what somebody said so that they can hear what you're hearing and understanding. It is transformative when you don't make assumptions, especially in the time, in these days of like texting and short soundbite clips, and you can't assume anything. You can't assume anything you see or hear is real unless you experience it personally. So number 4, always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Again, a huge testament to a way of being. When I think about doing my best, sometimes, video day 2. I was so tired. I was doing my best. The best did not come out very well. I did the redo. I was doing the best at the time. But that also goes for when you look back on life, when you look back at decisions you've made, and they weren't what you, in your more advanced being, think of as the best thing. They probably were the best thing you were doing, the best decisions you could make at the time. You go with the information you have, you go with the feelings that you have. And sometimes when we make decisions that don't feel in retrospect to be the best, it was a gift of wisdom, a gift of what not to do, a gift of change and doing something differently. That also goes for the physical part of, on days when you're fatigued, when you're just not thinking clearly, you can only do your best. You can only do what your body can do in that moment, and nothing more, and that's okay. So the 4 agreements has been a beautiful little structure for my path. And if you're not familiar with it, I encourage you to check it out. If you are, maybe you want to revisit it and really see what those agreements mean for you. So thank you. Thank you for sticking with me. 8, 9, and 10 are on deck. I'm looking forward to the end of this challenge. All right, until tomorrow, be well.